Hello and welcome to the Fish Tank, an episode that will hopefully one day be described by the critics as episode 38, because it is episode 38. So actually while I'm talking about critics, I'd actually read a review of the Fish Tank. I'll just read it to you. It says, in the Fish Tank, Mr. Fisher couldn't be funnier even if he tried. So there we go. Not sure that's a compliment or not, just have to wait and see. So it's time to get cracking with Apology of the Week. On this week's show I'd like to apologise to Radiohead and their fans. After on last week's show I suggested that their new album In Rainbows was produced without needing a record company. I actually got a response from a Radiohead fan that said they've not said that they don't need a record company, instead they're merely waiting for the correct outlet to get a record company, and well, you know what I mean. I apologise to Radiohead and congratulate them on having such worthy fans who are prepared to correct me for it. So well done Radiohead, and apparently their album is very good. So that's what this chap said who corrected me on the issue. I wrote back a response apologising as well. So it's a double apology. I've apologised in person, well not in person, but over the internet and on the Fish Tank, if he's watching this week's Fish Tank. So sorry about that. What can you do? So anyway, it's rugby fever has swept the nation. Look at that. England rugby shirt I'm wearing today. That's from Jamie over the corridor, who's a big avid Fish Tank fan nowadays. I converted him. I'm in got a new corridor, so you know, I've been spreading the word of Fish Tank around, and Jamie actually quite likes Fish Tank, to such an extent that the other day I was watching he was watching Fish Tank in his room quite late at night, because presumably he couldn't get to sleep and wanted something to send him off, and I was asleep in my room, and I couldn't get to sleep because all I could hear was me from across the corridor, which was quite strange because I was actually keeping myself awake. So quite surreal, but there you go. So hello to the new corridor and anyone who might be watching this. And also hello to Ryan Wright, who I used to play football with when I was younger, who just asked me to say hello to him. Sent me a Facebook message the other day saying that he lives for the Fish Tank. So Ryan, I live for you as well. There you go. So yes, as I said, rugby fever has swept through the nation, through to the semi-finals. Normally when I'm on a subject I'd tell a joke, but I didn't really think England would be in the tournament this far, so I've sort of exhausted all my jokes as far as you can get. But suffice to say, I think the England rugby team are a bunch of very manly, patriotic men. Really big, strong, manly people. Although they like to put their heads up with each other's bottoms when they're in a scrum, but they can do whatever they like. So what's been happening? Well, it's football. England are about to play Russia in about 20 minutes' time, at the time of recording. Obviously not for you guys, because you'll be watching this later on and you'll know the result. But it's England versus Russia, a bunch of complete rank amateurs versus Russia. So should go and watch that, see what happens. Apparently they're playing on some kind of weird plastic pitch, so it should be interesting to see what happens. Apparently there's only one of these pitches exactly the same in the rest of the corner, and for the first time ever someone's actually banging on the window during Fish Tank, because I live downstairs nowadays, which is very unfair. But as I say, it's a plastic pitch they're playing on, so they're actually carrying on and they're doing it again. There's no need for that. So yeah, I'm trying to do Fish Tank here. I'm still recording, so just no need for it. So anyway, yeah, they're playing on a plastic pitch. So as you go on, apparently the year 7s train on this pitch first, and then all of a sudden the England team will come and replace them after the end of PE, which must be a bit weird if you're a year 7. So what else will be happening as well? The Liberal Democrats have got rid of their leader, Sir Mingus Campbell. So you know, of course, I don't know, it was a bit weird as Mingies were in charge. Used to have the Brownites when Gordon Brown was in charge, Blairites, Tony Blair was in charge. So Mingus Campbell would be called the Mingers. I don't know. But Charles Kennedy, of course, used to be in charge, but he didn't really have many policies, to be fair. Charles Kennedy, he wants to make 24-hour drinking compulsory, obviously. Big drinker, Charles Kennedy. It wasn't so much a case of where were you when Kennedy was shot, it was much more a case of where were you when Charles Kennedy had a shot. So he loved his drinking and all that. So it's now time for the celeb-ometer, and I would like to get some children on the show. I'm not doing some kind of Michael Jackson tribute special or anything like that, but apparently school children as young as 7 are stressed out when they're at school. Okay, they're worried about global warming and terrorism. Alright, now seriously, how on earth can a 7-year-old be worried about terrorism? A 7-year-old doesn't know what terrorism is. Someone who's 7, probably all they do is they eat as much custard as they want during the day, eat loads of Angel Delight, go to bed, and they don't care. The days seem about 3 years long. They have no concerns whatsoever. So I'd say the average 7-year-old is about as concerned about terrorism as I am of falling down an alligator's throat while I'm in Sweden. It's just not going to happen. So there you go. Because it's been a thing with really weird news stories. I once read that Tinky Winky, the Teletubby, is not allowed on Polish TV. So if you're in Poland, you can't see Tinky Winky because apparently it carries a handbag to the word that it might be gay. So I think this was explained by once it was on Polish television. It just said that Tinky Winky was carrying loads of plumbing equipment in his red bag, which would probably cheer up the Polish people. But then saying that, I suppose if he was in a place called Poland, they're going to be more bothered about Po the Teletubby as opposed to Tinky Winky the Teletubby. So that's probably how I explain that. So it's now time for headline of the week, which I'm not sure which paper this week's comes from. I think it's the Telegraph, but I'm not fully certain. It says dealers will hear car talk soon. So hopefully they're talking about car dealers listen to talk about cars as opposed to drug dealers who've had that many drugs that they're actually going to listen to a car talk. But I'm not sure, I'll have to wait and see. So that's interesting-ish. It's time for our quote of the week as well, which comes from a commentator on an Australian rugby match. And he says, "He scored a try after 22 seconds, totally against the run of play." Well, after 22 seconds, surely there is no actual run of play. You kick off, probably the player catches the ball, drops it, then the man runs a try in. So there's no sort of actual build-up of play in 22 seconds. If you're going to get a build-up of play, it's got to be like a sustained period of about 5 minutes. So I'm not really sure what he's talking about there. But then again, he is Australian and probably knows very little about rugby because their rugby team is not as good as the English one. So that's my ending message. Best of luck to England in the World Cup final. Do the country proud. And hopefully next week's show I will be reporting that England are World Cup rugby champions again. So all the best. And remember, I'll give my right arm to become ambidextrous. There you go. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.